Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 111. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for April 21st, or in a leap year for April 20th. The Old Testament reading is from Deuteronomy 33 and Deuteronomy 34 through verse 12. Deuteronomy 33. Now, this is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the Israelites before his death. Then he said, Yahweh came from Sinai, and he dawned upon them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran, and he came with myriads of holy ones, at his right hand a fiery law for them. Moreover, he loves his people. All the holy ones were in your hand, and they bowed down to your feet. Each one accepted directions from you. A law Moses instructed for us as a possession for the assembly of Jacob. And then a king arose in Jeshurun, at the gathering of the leaders of the people. United were the tribes of Israel. May Reuben live, and may he not die, and let his number not be few. And he said this of Judah, Hear, O Yahweh, the voice of Judah, and bring him to his people. His own hands strive for him, and may you be a help against his foes. And of Levi he said, Your Thummim and your Urim are for your faithful one, whom you tested at Massah. You contended with him at the waters of Meribah. The one saying of his father and of his mother, I have not regarded them, and his brothers he did not acknowledge, and his children he did not know, but rather they observed your word, and your covenant they kept. They taught your regulations to Jacob, and your law to Israel. They placed incense smoke before you, and whole burnt offerings on your altar. Bless, O Yahweh, his substance, and with the work of his hands you must be pleased. Smite the loins of those who attack him, and those hating him, so that they cannot arise. Of Benjamin he said, The beloved of Yahweh dwells securely. The Most High shields all around him, all the day, and between his shoulders he dwells. And of Joseph he said, Blessed by Yahweh is his land, with the choice things of heaven, with dew, and with the deep lying down beneath, and with the choice things of the fruits of the sun, and with the choice things of the yield of the seasons, and with the finest things of the ancient mountains, and with the choice things of the eternal hills, and with the choice things of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of the one who dwelt in the bush. Let them come to the head of Joseph, and to the crown of the prince among his brothers. As the firstborn of his ox, majesty belongs to him, and his horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he drives people together. And they are the myriads of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. And of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and rejoice, Issachar, in your tents. They summon people to the mountains. There they sacrifice the sacrifices of righteousness, because the affluence of the seas they suck out, and the most hidden treasures of the sand. And of Gad he said, Blessed be the one who enlarges Gad. Like a lion he dwells, and he tears an arm as well as a scalp. And he selected the best part for himself, for there the portion of a ruler is included, and he came with the heads of the people. He did the righteousness of Yahweh and his regulations for Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a cub of a lion. He leaps from Bashan. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, sated of favor and full of the blessing of Yahweh, take possession of the lake and the land to the south. And of Asher he said, blessed more than sons is Asher. May he be the favorite of his brothers, dipping his feet in the oil. Your bars are iron and bronze, and as your days, so is your strength. There is no one like God, O Jeshurun, who rides through the heavens to your help, and with his majesty through the skies. The God of ancient time is a hiding place, and underneath are the arms of eternity. And he drove out from before you your enemy, and he said, destroy them. So Israel dwells alone and carefree, the spring of Jacob in a land of grain and wine, his heavens even drip dew. Blessed are you, O Israel. Who is like you, a people who is saved by Yahweh, the shield of your help? And who is the sword of your triumph? And your enemies, they shall fawn before you, and you shall tread on their backs. Deuteronomy 34. Then Moses went up from the desert plateau of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which is opposite Jericho. And Yahweh showed him all of the land, Gilead all the way up to Dan, and all of Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all of the land of Judah up to the western sea, and the Negev, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palms, on up to Zoar. And Yahweh said to him, this is the land that I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, to your offspring I will give it. I have let you see it with your eyes, but you shall not cross into it. Then Moses, the servant of Yahweh, died there in the land of Moab, according to the command of Yahweh. And he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor. But until this day, no one knows his burial site. Now Moses was 120 years old when he died. His sight was not impaired, and his vigor had not abated. And the Israelites wept concerning Moses 30 days. Finally, the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were completed. Now Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had placed his hands on him. And the Israelites listened to him, and they did as Yahweh had commanded Moses. And not again has a prophet arisen in Israel like Moses, whom Yahweh knew face to face, as far as all the signs and wonders Yahweh sent him to do in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all of his servants, and against all of his land, and as far as all of the mighty deeds, and as far as the great awesome wonders Moses did before the eyes of all Israel. The New Testament reading is from Luke 20, beginning at verse 27, through Luke 21, verse 4. Luke 20, verse 27. Now, some of the Sadducees, who deny that there is a resurrection, came up and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies having a wife, and this man is childless, then his brother should take the wife and father descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died childless, and the second, and the third took her, and likewise also the 7 did not leave children and died. Finally the woman also died. Therefore, in the resurrection, the woman, whose wife will she be? For the 7 had her as wife. And Jesus said to them, The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are considered worthy to attain to that age and to the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, for they are not even able to die any longer, because they are like the angels and are sons of God, because they are sons of the resurrection. But that the dead are raised, even Moses revealed in the passage about the bush, when he calls the Lord the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. Now he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for all live to him. And some of the scribes answered and said, Teacher, you have spoken well. For they no longer dared to ask him anything. But he said to them, In what sense do they say that Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. David therefore calls him Lord. And how is he his son? And while all the people were listening, he said to the disciples, Beware of the scribes, who like walking around in long robes, and who love greetings in the marketplaces, and the best seats in the synagogues, and the places of honor at banquets, who devour the houses of widows, and pray lengthy prayers for the sake of appearance. These will receive more severe condemnation. Luke 21. And he looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the contribution box. And he saw a certain poor widow putting in there 2 small copper coins. And he said, Truly, I say to you that this poor widow put in more than all of them. For these all put gifts into the offering out of their abundance. But this woman, out of her poverty, put in all the means of subsistence that she had. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm 49, verses 1 through 20. Psalm 49:1. For the music director, of the sons of Korah, a psalm. Hear this, all you peoples, give ear, all you inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth will speak wisdom, and the meditation of my heart will be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will propound my riddle on a lyre. Why should I fear in times of calamity when iniquity surrounds me at my heels? Those who trust their wealth and boast about the abundance of their riches? Surely a man cannot redeem a brother. He cannot give to God his ransom, since the redemption price for their life is costly and it always fails, so that he may stay alive forever and not see the pit. For he sees that the wise die. Together with the fool and brute, they perish and leave their wealth to the next generation. Within them, they think their houses are forever, their dwelling places from generation to generation. They name their lands by their own names. But a man cannot continue in his pomp. He is like the beasts that perish. This is the journey of those who have foolish confidence, and those after them who accept their sayings. Like sheep, they are destined to Sheol. Death will shepherd them. But the upright will rule over them in the morning, and their forms will be for Sheol to consume, far from his lofty abode. Surely God will ransom my life from the power of Sheol, because he will receive me. Do not fear when a man becomes rich, when the wealth of his house increases, because when he dies he will not take away any of it. His wealth will not follow down after him. Though he congratulated his soul while he was living, and people will praise you when you do well for yourself, it will go to the generation of his fathers. Never will they see light. Humankind in its pomp but does not understand is like the beasts that perish. This concludes the reading for day 111. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the Global Outreach Ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.